Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and a CD is a certificate of deposit where you actually go to a bank, you give them money, and usually they'll lock you in for a rate. In return, they're going to keep your money for a while. Now, if you're watching this video, most likely you know that, but I wanted to make sure everyone knew it. Now, the whole idea is, Tommy, right now in December of 2023, what are actually going to be the highest yield CDs available? Now, even though you're watching this video right now, you may take advantage of it, but even though you're doing that, make sure you do your own research, because by the time I post this video, rates may actually change. Every time I read a book and the author mentions, hey, I'm getting 8% on a savings account, so I'm like, where are those savings accounts? Well, in reality, they no longer exist, okay? So it's all dependent on the current market overall, so you wanna make sure you do your own research. Now, there is one more thing I wanna mention. As far as CD goes, I use them to park my money. I don't use them as investments, because for investments, they're very lousy investments. You're not gonna get a CD that pays you 7 to 8% for the next 10 to 20 years. Most likely, if it even gets that high, well, you might get paid for like 2 years or 3 years that much money, but then after that, it's basically done. It's basically over, all right? So for the most part, CDs are a great place to park your money that you're not gonna need for a while, but you also wanna have that money liquid in case you need to buy something fairly quickly. That is the idea, but it's not to have your money that's for investing in a CD. So very poor investment overall. Now, if you guys don't know me, my name is TommyBryson. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notified. Now, the very first thing, guys, is this. Whenever you're looking at big banks, I recommend usually you don't even bother unless it changes in the future. So maybe, yeah, do bother, but you can always expect for big banks to actually offer you the worst rates when it comes to CDs and also high yield savings accounts. They tend to be very good for mortgage rates and loans and all that good stuff, but when it comes to giving you money, they're usually not going to give you that much, okay? So if you look at, for example, the biggest banks out there, which are usually going to be Chase and Bank of America and Wells Fargo, well, Chase right now for a 12-month CD is offering you about 3%. Not great. When it comes to Bank of America, for a 13-month CD, they're actually offering 5%. Not that bad. And Wells Fargo is actually offering about 2%. You can never expect much from big banks, and if they do have something available, maybe take advantage of it. But for the most part, big banks are not supposed to actually be giving you a bunch of money when it comes to savings rates and all that extra stuff, okay? So keep that in mind. So the big money is usually going to be in online banks. Now, these banks I'm going to tell you about with the highest CD rates are banks that I know, I've dealt with, and I can recommend. But I'll also tell you the other banks, which I don't know, haven't dealt with, but they do offer even higher rates. Now, Tommy, are those safe too? The answer is yes, because they're also members, or at least they advertise to be members of the FDIC. So as long as you don't have more than 250K, at least that amount is actually going to be safe and secured. Now, the first bank is actually going to be Barclays. Now, I used Barclays for a long time, not for a bank, but I actually used them for my credit card. Back in the day when I had debt and I did all that stuff, okay? I no longer use that. But they have very good customer service, in my opinion, back then when I used them. They're also a very well recognized bank. They're part of the FDIC. And in reality, they're giving you right now for a 1-year term CD around 5.50%. To me, that is great. It's pretty good, honestly. And not even that, but even for example, for a 2-year CD, they're offering you 5%. That's not bad. That's basically almost like a bond rate. It's not that bad at all, okay? So that's pretty good. Well, I mean a note. For the most part, it's not that bad. Now, obviously, they have penalties if you break the whole CD. I'll talk more about that later. Now, number 2 is going to be Marcus by Goldman Sachs. And right now, for a 1-year term, they're offering 5.30%. A lot of folks don't remember this, but when things actually started to get back on track, where banks were actually giving us more money because interest rates actually went up, Marcus by Goldman Sachs were one of the ones that actually started that in a way, at least like in this modern culture. or at least from my experience, okay? So they're usually going to be very good competitively. And not just that, they actually have an agreement with you for the first 10 days, if I'm not mistaken. So if you get your CD today and then tomorrow CD rates actually raise, they're actually going to match it and bring you back up. If tomorrow CD rates go down, they're not gonna take your CD and put it down as far as interest rate. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna change the next like 10 days or so. We'll raise it. No, don't worry, automatically, so you'll be fine. So yeah, but they do have a minimum though, and that's going to be $500, while Barclays doesn't have a minimum, okay? So, but I'm guessing if you're gonna get a CD, you're probably going to put in more than $500, so it's not really a big deal. If it was a savings account and you want to get started savings, then the minimum obviously sucks because you just want to get started. But when it's a CD, you're usually going to get a CD because you already have cash you actually want to set aside. Now, number 3 is actually going to be Discover Bank, and it's actually the one I use the most. And that's going to be, right now, they're offering for a 1-year term 5.20%. They're actually the lowest on this list overall, but I do love Discover's customer service and overall service. They're actually pretty good. The app is amazing. I like Discover. I might be biased. It's one of my main banks, okay? But this is not about favoritism. It's about finding the most reliable bank out there that can actually offer you the best rate. So it's all up to you. Now, you also have, for example, by the way, Discover for a 2-year CD is actually offering about 4.40%. That's actually not that great at all compared to 5%, although it is just 60 decimal points overall. So it's not really that much, or basis points, you know, so it's not really that much overall, but it does make a difference when you're talking about a lot of money. Now, you also have the banks that I don't know and I can't recommend, but they are FDIC insured and they're also well known by other people, but I'm actually going to tell you guys about them right now. You have right now BMO Alto CD, and they're actually offering about 5.66%, okay, or 65%. So I told you, they're one of the highest ones here. But I don't know that much about the bank, so I wouldn't put my money into it. And that's why I'm putting it at this part of the list, okay? Does that mean they're not safe to invest with? The answer is no, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying I wouldn't put my money into them because I don't know them like that. So I would have to do a fair amount of research into the bank to make sure I actually feel good about putting my money in with that bank. And by the way, whenever people say, Tommy, but it's FDIC insured, I hope you guys understand that just because something is FDIC insured doesn't mean I'm very excited to put my money into something that might go bankrupt if I don't know the bank that well, okay? So that's my point. I want to make sure where I'm putting my money is with a bank I know is big enough, I trust, I have, for example, some relationship with in a way, and I'd rather that, okay? So overall, it's like a guideline. Make sure it's FDIC insured, but you also don't want to have that FDIC insurance actually be used and go through that process, all right? So that's one thing. I'm not saying they're going to go bankrupt, by the way. Then you also have Lending Club. And Lending Club, which is basically known for actually being able to have you put your money in and lend it to people and so on to make money, actually is offering a CD. And they're offering a 5.5 yield. That's actually pretty good for a 12-month term. Now, they also have, for example, a $2,500 minimum. So you have to keep that in mind. So it's a lot more money. It's probably number 2 on this list, but it's a lot more money. But again, if you're opening up a CD, it's usually going to be because you have more cash to actually put in, set aside, and just park it for a while. So the minimum shouldn't really be a big deal. Now, Tommy, what about the penalties here? If I choose one of these companies to actually work with, one of these banks, you know, what penalties can I expect in case I actually change my mind and I actually want to break it? By the way, comment down below if you want me to make a video about no penalty CDs, because those actually exist. So comment down below no penalty if you want me to make a video about that. And also, if you got in value so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's free, and click notifications on so that way you get notified every time I post a new video when it comes to money and all that good stuff. Now, here are the overall penalty system you could probably expect to see overall. Now, this right here is for Discover, but most of them kind of share the exact same system for the most part. But in Discover right now, if you have CD terms for less than a year, you can expect to lose 3 months of simple interest. Now, this also means that potentially you could lose a portion of your capital. What do you mean, Tommy? Okay, well, let's say it's month 1 and your grace period is over for you to actually break the CD, right? It's not usually going to be that much time. So your grace period is over, you want to break the CD, well, you're still going to owe them 3 months of simple interest of what that 3 months would have actually been. If that 3 months simple interest was basically like $1,000 and right now you've only earned, for example, $300, well, they're gonna grab the other $700 from your capital. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you could actually lose a part of the money you actually put in. Now, if it's if it's a term between 1 to 4 years, you can expect to lose between 6 months of simple interest, 4 to 5 years, 9 months, 5 to 7 years, 18 months, which is a lot, and then 7 years and above, about 24 months, 2 years worth of interest you can expect to actually lose. So if you're locking up your money for 7 years, you can lose like 2 years worth of money, okay? By the way, Tommy, would you actually lock your money in for that long in a CD? The answer is absolutely not. The most I would probably do for a CD would be probably like 2 years or so. I wouldn't lock in my money for that long of a time in such a poor place, all right, for the most part. And guys, comment down below and let me know exactly why are you actually interested in opening up a CD. I want to hear your story. I want to know exactly why, because if it is for an investment, it is probably going to be a poor one. If it's for parking money, it's probably going to be a good choice potentially, but it's all up to you, all right? Comment down below and let me know. As always, guys, like this video and tap out also subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. And down below is my link for Patreon if you want to join me over there. And here are the people on Patreon. I appreciate you guys a ton. And here's the highlighted person for the week. As always, long-term team out. Up here is another video. Over here is my face. And as always, peace.